you're ready, pump to your heart, one palm to your belly, and just close your eyes here and hold. Something crazy. I'm going to Blue Bottle for coffee today. Because I honestly just don't want to wait in the long line. Oh, well, we hesitated. So. Also, it feels way warmer than 70 out. I'm in my cozies. Hey, you guys, so we have to go to Naperville today because I have a shoot for a client there. It was like supposed to be in the city and then last minute got changed to Naperville, whatever. And I have it tomorrow on Monday, and I was like, I just said to Blake, I was like, you know what? I could be really crabby about this, or I could embrace it, and like we could have a really nice time in Naperville. Blake was like, yeah, that's kind of how I choose to go about life. And I was like, yeah, I love that. But anyways, I think that like things are only as hard as we make them, you know?
We wanted to get the...
Wait, see if it'll land on you. Don't touch its wings though. Did you know that if you touch their wings, they can't fly?
So like I think Walk Alone is better, but post filming for a client, here's all the things I picked up for a little prepping for a spring soiree thing. Little iced tea pigs before we go for a walk. Thumbprint cookies. Sunday night mask. I'm doing a little snail muse in action tonight. Good morning, you guys, and happy Monday. Today I am headed into the I love this little setup in the morning always. Also look at these gorgeous flowers that one of my friends gave me. Stunning. But I am headed into the suburbs to Naperville actually today for a client shoot. I'm just gonna be there for a couple hours, so I'm gonna head out around 11. I'll get home around 3. It'll be easy. But we were actually gonna go last night and just stay at Blake's parents, but honestly it made no sense for Blake to go, and I was kind of just being a little bit of a baby. And so I was like, you know what? I think sometimes I like am high maintenance for no reason. Like he does not need to drive me into the suburbs and then drive back early in the morning. Like he would have had to skip his workout today. He would have just been a shitty morning for him because he works in the city now, so he would have to drive back into the city. Anyways, it was just like a stupid idea, and we're going to the suburbs next weekend anyways, so we pulled the plug on that last night, and I'm so glad we did because we ended up having such a relaxing evening, and it was just really, really nice. So, and I'm just happy to like still be at home base, and sometimes I think I act like going to the suburbs is so much longer than it is, when like today it'll be 40 minutes, which is like not bad. I said to Blake last night, I was like, it's literally like driving to Cedar Rapids. He was like, it's a way better drive than driving to Cedar Rapids. I was like, true. That's like Iowa City. There's where I'm from in Iowa, City, there's like Cedar Rapids, which is like 40 minutes away. Anyways, but I also realized that like if you're newer here, there are things that I assume that people know that like people don't just know. Like the fact that I'm from Iowa. So maybe I should do like a little like fun facts part of this vlog or something. But first I need to do my morning things. This has been the lineup. I highly recommend this book. Even if you don't do like a morning routine, like literally just have it to read before bed. It's so good. Hello. I literally look like a crackhead right now. Like, I'm just cracking up. But I'm not taking these off yet because it hasn't been 10 minutes. I'll take them off once it's been 10 minutes. But anyways, I'm currently walking and I'm gonna go get a coffee. And so I figured while I walk, I would just tell you some fun facts about myself. So, I live in Chicago. I'm coming up on 3 years living in Chicago. You guys know that, probably. And before that, I lived in Iowa City, Iowa, which I actually grew up there. And then I ended up going to college there. So I went to the University of Iowa, studied finance, and my summer after my sophomore year, I did an internship in Chicago and actually lived in the building that Blake and I are living in now and have lived in for 3 years, which is crazy. So I lived in that building over the summer while I did my internship. I did an internship in investment banking and hated it, but loved Chicago. And then when I graduated, I had no idea what I wanted to do because I always thought I wanted to be in investment banking, and then I was like, oh, no, I don't. But I think these are falling off. But anyways, when I graduated, Blake actually, because Blake lived in Iowa City and he was, guys, Blake has lived 2 different lives. He was an engineer, which is insane. But he was an engineer and then he decided to pivot and get into commercial real estate. And, okay, these are dead. And so he actually got a job, in Chicago right when I graduated. It was actually like perfect divine timing. And so we packed up and moved to the city in June after, like June 2021, I think it was. And we've been here since. But when I was little, I hated growing up in Iowa, especially because I was born in Palm Beach and then we moved, and I mean, we had both places, so my parents were always like my parents are from Iowa. So anyways, but we moved full-time to Iowa, and I was just like, I never felt content there. I always wanted to move. Like, I was always pulling that shit on my parents, like, why can't we move? And now I just have this newfound appreciation for Iowa. Like, if you have never been to Iowa City, I mean, you wouldn't really have a reason to go, but it's so cute. Like, it's such a great college town, and I love it, hence why I love going back there. And literally every time I go back, I'm like, oh my god, we could totally move back. And Blake's like, no, we couldn't. But yeah, I have 2 sisters. I'm the youngest of 3. I have a sister who lives in New York, and then a sister who lives in DC. My sister who lives in DC my sister who lives in New York is very private. And my sister who lives in DC also does social media, but like on a grander scale. Low-key, she's like an influencer now, you guys. It's kind of insane. You should follow her at Feel Well by Anna. She's so knowledgeable about wellness, and yeah, she's great. She's like one of my favorite follows, and I'm not just saying that because I'm her sister. Because honestly, I'm probably tougher on her than anyone else is. So yeah, 2 sisters. My parents are divorced, but our family is still really close. My parents didn't, sorry, I had to pause because this guy was like seizing me. Anyways, my parents didn't get a divorce until I was a senior in high school, and that was really hard for me. And I think that's part of the reason that I went to the University of Iowa, just because I felt so lost. Like, I was like, I don't know what to do, so I went to Iowa. And like, the thing is if you grew up in a college town, you might feel this way. Like, it's kind of, at least for Iowa, looked down upon to go to Iowa. Like, none of my friends went to Iowa. I mean, some of them. That's not true. My friends, like my tried and true friends, like, I'm just gonna say their first names, like Maddie, Emma, who else? Honestly, I feel like that's kind of it. They went to Iowa, but then like everyone else like left. And so I think that like for a long time there was some shame around that, but I think just like the takeaway that I'm giving to you guys is you have to trust your gut, and you have to do things that you know are going to benefit you even if you feel shame around them. And you kind of just have to drop the shame, because shame is lame. And for me, going to Iowa was one of the best decisions I've ever made. And I also think that, like, I mean, we could get into my opinions on college and the college landscape. Why not? Let's talk about it. I think that just seeing, like, for example, my friends from Iowa, some of my friends are in the same, or were in the same analyst class at Goldman Sachs as kids that I knew who went to Harvard and paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to school. And that just, like, baffles me. And I think that no matter where you go to college, like, I think you're fed this, like, story in high school that where you go to college, your grades determine where you go to college, where you go to college determines your success determines your worth. And I just think that couldn't be farther from true, because I think some of the smartest people that I know that I've ever met went to the University of Iowa, which is definitely, like, not as astute of a school as I don't know, like UPenn or like Dartmouth or whatever. You guys get what I'm saying. And so I just think, regardless of where you end up, first of all, I think the people who are the most successful, unless it's like a niche invention, people who are the most successful in life are usually the people who put their ego aside and know how to fucking grind, and the people who are really, really street smart. And so I think building, I also don't think that those are things that you're necessarily born with. I think some people are, but I think some people develop a sense of work ethic and street smarts as they grow up, as they get older. And yeah, I mean, I can honestly, like, use Blake and his brothers as an example of people who are just, like, they grind and they just, like, they don't complain. And yeah, they might not have, like, going in been the smartest, but they'll ensure that they become it because of how much dedication and honestly just drive they all have. And so I also think, just, like, going off of that, intelligence is something that, like, yes, some people are born smart. I think especially in high school, I was surrounded by so many kids who were so brilliant, just, like, naturally so. Like, even my high school boyfriend, like, didn't study for anything, and, like, he would go into any test, set the curve, didn't study for the ACT, went in 36. And it's just, like, I think that deeply ingrained in me this sense of, like, okay, because I have to get a tutor for the ACT and study for all these tests and all these quizzes that none of the kids in my classes have to study for, that I am not as worthy as them. And that's just not fucking true, because what that taught me is a work ethic and a dedication. And also, like, I think I talked about project management, but, like, a project management skill set from studying, literally, and from setting up schedules for myself to ensure success, that I only realized how much it was paying off in college because I felt so prepared. Like, my high school experience was 10 times harder than my college experience, but I finally felt prepared. I finally felt like I had a grip on things once I got to college. So I also think, like, success is so dependent on who you're comparing yourself to, and so that's why you can't compare yourself to others, and you just have to compare yourself to yourself, and you have to just work to challenge yourself and continue learning and growing, because that's how you're going to just continue up-leveling. The people who are constantly focusing on others surrounding them are never going to reach new heights, because their comparison set is so jaded, you know? I don't know if that makes sense, but okay, well, time to walk home, so bye. He will. Hi, you guys. I just got back from, oops. Sorry, my camera's being weird. I got back from a client shoot about an hour ago and made a later lunch. Now I think it's like 4:15 probably, but anyways. And then I just finished up some work and showered, and I'm so wiped. So I'm actually gonna head out and just like go for a little stroll, go to Whole Foods, and then come home and probably just make dinner. But I always am grateful after I get done with these things because I mostly work remote. So anytime I do something like in person, I kind of get anxious about it. So I'm really happy that it is done and that it went well and that I'm back home. You guys, look at this. Hold on. Look at this bouquet of flowers that one of my friends gave me. Isn't it so gorgeous? It's like giving Easter. It's so springy. And then I have Wilder House's new candle burning, which I love the thing that it's in, but it's called Spring Haze, and it's like hyacinth and lilac. And it actually smells like, I feel like a lot of the times a floral candle won't actually smell like floral. It'll just smell kind of gross. But this one smells so good. Also, does anyone else just have to stretch in the morning? Like, I literally am stretching all morning because it feels so good. Okay. Time for some Wim Hof. I am off to go grab a coffee before I have an 11 a.m. and I decided to wash my sheets today, even though it's midweek. So this is your sign to do a little midweek sheet refresh just for fun because it makes you feel good. Almost there. Used the leftover buttermilk to brine some chicken to make for dinner tomorrow. Good morning. It's like 6:30 before I go teach. I'm going to make the Erewhon Persian cucumber salad with sumac. Fresh garlic. Hello, you guys. So I've shown you little sporadic moments of the day, but we haven't really caught up. And honestly, my days this week have just been so like fast and furious. This morning, you guys know I taught, which it was my last flow. I teach one strength and flow tomorrow. And yeah, but I don't even know if I said this last time, but you guys, I definitely will go back to teaching at some point. I just am taking a step away, ATM at the moment. So I'm unloading the dishwasher as we speak. But after I taught, I went to the farmer's market, which was lovely, and you guys saw I picked up some good stuff. And then I was just home, like getting work done pretty much all day. I feel like I'm in this phase of life right now where every day kind of feels the same. I don't feel like I'm like depressed. Like that's not like I'm like feeling like my life isn't lively. It's not that. It's just I feel like I'm kind of in this grind phase right now, which is fine. And I definitely like still at halftime doing my thing. I'm just busy, but I like it. So anyways, I did that and then just went out on a walk, stopped into Brandy Melville, which like they do have really good basics, but the thing about Brandy for me is anytime I buy something from there, I don't wear it. I was telling Kate this, and like I'm sorry if you judge me for this, but like if I buy something from Lisette or like Donnie, and it's literally the exact same thing as I can get at Brandy, I will wear it. But if I buy it at Brandy, I won't wear it. I don't know why. So to me, it's just worth investing. Which honestly, like, I know that's wrong, but I mean, it's just owning it, I guess. But anyways, I'm gonna put you guys on the charger because my camera's flashing red at me. I'm gonna get dinner started. Just prep some sourdough. I'm trying using 25% whole wheat flour for fun. Doing a little saging. Well, Paula's onto it. Sorry, this isn't focusing. There we go. Just clearing the energy from the day before I sit down with my granola bar and my tea and watch some vlogs. And then I'm gonna go read my book and go to bed. So I will see you guys in the AM. Good morning, good morning. I am about to do a little shaping action for my sourdough, but first I'm gonna make a little coffee. So I actually tried something new today, you guys, or yesterday with sourdough. And what I tried is, I think I told you, I did 75% whole flour, bread flour, and then 25% whole wheat. So Nat told me that's what she does, but then she also said she's been doing kamut flour. She was like, I'm sending you some of this kamut, it's amazing. But she's been getting it locally in Boulder. So yeah, but I'm excited to try this out. One thing with sourdough, and honestly just in life, is if I'm gonna test something, if I'm gonna do something new, I really try to just switch one variable at a time. Take it back to science class, you know? Because then you know exactly what's causing the change. Also, I'm gonna spray a little bit of this. It's the Lelabo, the matcha. My perfumist there told me to keep it in the fridge. Like technically you're supposed to keep all of them in the fridge, but he said this one in specific, it's just like so much more. It just stays so much better if you keep it in the fridge. But here's my Bannatin, which is a Bannatin that's probably 20 years old. This is from my dad's bakery. So yeah, and then what I'm gonna do is, I'll just show you guys my current process. And if you don't bake sourdough, then this is still kind of therapeutic. This is a thing of whole wheat flour that I have. And I'm just gonna get my Bannatin nice and covered. The reason I'm using whole wheat is because I had whole wheat on the, or I added whole wheat to the inside, and I just think it'll look prettier on the outside, to be completely honest. So I'm getting my Bannatin very heavily floured. And I think that's important because otherwise, I hate when the loaf sticks to the Bannatin. Like, nothing drives me crazier. With sourdough, I like to work with slightly damp hands. And then I'm just kind of going in. This is what some people do with skincare. I'm just going in with this. This is me with sourdough. I really, when I'm shaping, I really don't like to touch it that much, to be completely honest. Like, I build a little bit of tension, but I don't want to overwork the dough. Like, this is totally fine. This will be the shape, and then I'll set it face down in the Bannatin. And then I'll just wash my hands, and what I've been doing is the final proof has been in the fridge lately, and that's been working really nicely for me. So I'm gonna continue to lean into that. Also, if you wanna stop, as I'm using paper towels, but if you wanna stop using as much paper towels, I highly recommend just keep them under your sink because you just won't reach for them as much. We really used a lot of paper towels at one point, and then I was just like, okay, this has gotten out of hand, and also it's ugly on the countertop, so let's just put them below and see what happens. And I still use them. I'm team paper towel, but I'm also like, I'm not gonna lie, I think that, as I was telling you, I kind of think recycling is a scam, but I'm gonna keep doing it. And I feel like this isn't a hot take, but I'm still gonna say it. When it comes to like sustainability, I'm all about like clean living, clean environment, all of the things, but like sometimes I think we forget that like the issue is so much bigger than me using paper towels. And again, I still want to decrease the amount I'm using because I still don't think it's good, but sometimes I feel like people, like individuals, get so demonized by like large companies, and like the whole straw thing, remember that? when in reality, it's fucking large companies. That's the issue. You know, like the issue is right there is, and I think it goes so much deeper than the environment too. It goes into like child labor. It goes into being underpaid. It goes into so much. It goes into like, even in like, I think it goes into big pharma. I think it's just like, honestly, like innately it's a control thing, but I don't know. All I know is that I'm using less paper towels. Okay, so I keep all of my flowers. Well, I keep them down there and up there, but I don't usually use wheat, so it's up there. So anyways, I'm gonna put this in the fridge. Back to sourdough. I'm gonna put it in the fridge for about probably like 3.5 hours or so until it feels right. And then I'll take it out and I will bake from cold, and it is so, so good, and I can't wait to have a slice of it for lunch today. Thick butter and thinly sliced radishes. I have been looking at this girl's videos. Her name is Haley Catalano. She is such a phenomenal chef. If you don't know who she is, I highly recommend. Sorry, I wanted to get my light mask, but as I was saying, if you don't know who she is, I highly recommend checking her out. She is so knowledgeable, but she's also just like so calming and sweet. And I've really been enjoying learning from her. That's the thing about TikTok is I really like, I feel like I'm selective about how I use it. I think it can be really toxic, but as with everything. But I have learned so much from it. Like, and I think it's just because I follow like a few people and I watch their videos pretty religiously, but I just feel like I've learned so much. Which one? I want to love everyone without judging them, without placing anyone on a scale of better or worse. To feel the good in people, or to first see the good in people and treat them with kindness and attention. I want to give without worrying of what I will get in return. I want my mind to feel comfortable radiating love to the entire world. I want to gently hold myself to a higher standard without forcing or rushing. Beautifully said. I want to gently force myself to a higher standard without forcing and rushing. And sometimes I feel like that is me, is I hold myself to a high standard, but then I force and I rush things. Rather than still having that high standard for myself, but letting it all happen in divine timing. I really like that. I'm gonna take a picture of that. Also, if you enjoy like documenting your life and enjoy photos and stuff, because I love doing that, I highly recommend, but like you also want to stay present, I highly recommend take photos throughout your day. It's really fun, and like for example, I'll take a photo of this, and like my whole thing lately has been like taking photos throughout the day to just like curate the vibe of the day. And at the end of the day, I'll go into Instagram and I'll just post a photo dump on my story, and it's really fun. And I just think it packs so much more punch, and it tells more of a story. And then you're not on Instagram at all, you know, because like I won't get on until I do that. And yeah, okay, now we're doing our 5-minute journal. I can't believe it's already the 16th of May, you guys. Opportunities multiply as they are seized. I really like that. I really like that. Okay, I am grateful for, sometimes my gratefuls are so like minuscule. Like right now I'm really grateful for like crisp airy linens. Travel. B, as in like we had such a nice night last night, and it just like reminded me sometimes I feel like we, without any couple, like sometimes you have these moments where it goes back to feeling like it did when you like really first started dating. And last night was so fun. Like once we just finished dinner, we literally sat at the table and talked for like hours and just cracked up. And we ended up playing this game that we were calling Confessional. And wait, hold on. We'll finish the 5-minute journal and then I'll tell you. What would make today great? Today I'm teaching my last class at Yoga 2.0, so a phenomenal last class. And also, one of you reached out to me and is gonna come to my class. I'm so excited. Phenomenal. And that's like such a testament to like, because I think, I wanna write it down first. Phenomenal last class. I think that putting teaching to the side for a little bit, I felt like, oh my gosh, but am I lacking community? And this was just such a beautiful testament to, no, I still have community. I have so much community. So much so that one of my YouTube girlies is gonna come to class. I love it, but okay. What else would make today great? I always say grounded productivity. I think I told you guys that because especially during the weekdays, like I really want to have I want to move the needle forward, push the needle forward. But also I kind of hate that phrase because I want it to be natural. I don't want to push it. And then what's the final thing? Honestly, just another really great evening with Blake. Okay, a positive affirmation. I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am aligned. Okay. Wait, fuck, I was gonna talk to you guys about something. And then I was like, wait, hold on, let me finish doing this. Damn it. Oh, confessional. Yeah. Okay, so we played this game that we called confessional, and basically, you know what the gist of the game is. I was like, okay, confess, let's have some truth bombs here. And he was like, well, I feel like I'm always honest with you. And I'm like, yeah, honestly, like, same. And I was like, have you ever gone through my phone? And he was like, no. I was like, really? He was like, no, never. I was like, that's a good sign. I feel like that's a really good sign. And so like, I guess that's some advice is like, if you're in a good relationship, like you're not gonna feel the need to do that. And he was like, have you ever run through mine? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, why? I was like, cause I was looking for information on the ring when you were having the ring made. He's like, did you find it? I was like, no. He was like, that's because I deleted the text. I was like, oh, you squirrel. But anyways, so sign that if you're in a healthy relationship, I don't feel like you should ever feel the need to go through your partner's phone. But what, I mean, then, like, I'm not kidding you guys, these confessionals, like, from my end, they were pretty lame, but from Blake's, like, I don't know what got into him, but he had some, like, Blake's not the type of person who, like, I don't think he's ever, like, he doesn't really lie. He's really, like, he's a very loyal and very just, like, true to how he feels, but he's also pretty quiet. And he doesn't ask, or he doesn't say, really, things unless he's asked, if that makes sense. So anyways, there was one that I'm not going to say on the internet, but there was another one that if you've been watching my vlogs for a really long time, do you guys remember when I was in college, I lived in Iowa City, my family dog, Finus, aka Bella, her name is Bella, but I call her Finus, who, side note, died about a year ago. Honestly, she is my spirit guide though, I always feel her. I love her so much, but anyways. Iowa City, Bella was living with me because I had just really taken her under my wing because I wanted her. And she basically had this issue with her tooth where she lost a tooth. And so she was like, it was like, actually she was in so much pain. It was so sad. But Blake and I were like taking care of her. And we took her to my mom's, and my mom was like hanging out with her for a little bit. My mom had fed her, and Blake and I were going back to pick her up. And we get off the elevator to my mom's place, and my mom is holding Bella like this and going, ah, ah. And I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? And she's like, look at what she's doing. She's choking. And she wasn't choking. She was just like gnawing. Like, she was like almost gnawing like her tooth was falling out. And so Blake was like, Mary, you have to calm down. I'm freaking out. I'm like, she's gonna die, she's gonna die. And Blake was like, Mary, you have to calm down. You're scaring Bella. Like, Bella is clearly worked up now. And I was like, me too. Anyways, we take Bella to my dad's. My dad's like, she's probably gonna die. And I'm like, oh my God, no, I can't. And long story short, Bella was totally fine. She was just losing a tooth. We talked to our vet. Our vet was like, she's fine. Don't even bring her in. Like, she's probably just gonna swallow the tooth. She's fine. But she was in so much pain as like she was going through that process. So much so that she had this cone on that same night and she couldn't fall asleep. And so Blake laid with her on the floor, you guys, and fell asleep with her on the floor. It was so tender and sweet. But anyways, long story short, in confessional last night, somehow we started talking about Minus and when she lost a tooth. And Blake was like, oh, I have something to tell you. And I was like, what? And he was like, well, right before that happened, he was like, right before that happened, I was taking her on a walk and she put something in her mouth and I yanked it out of her mouth. And then she started doing that gnawing thing and I was like, oh fuck, I think she might have just lost a tooth. Blake yanking the thing out of her mouth made her freaking lose the tooth. And he was like, the reason I didn't tell you until now is because I knew that if I told you, it would be like, you would absolutely demonize me. And I was like, I honestly would have freaked. So thank God you didn't tell me until now, but it was funny. Maybe that was kind of a you had to be there, but I'm still telling you guys. But anyways, confessional was very fun. I'm trying to think if there was like anything. We were honestly, because I feel like we pretty much tell each other most things, so we were honestly, also why do I feel like Ellen DeGeneres every single time? Like, I love these linens, but I also feel like Ellen. I think I need a haircut real bad. Makes me want a hot dog real bad. In that movie. But I feel like we are pretty open with each other, but like, even like little honest opinion things, it was fun. Okay, I'm dilly-dallying, so I'm gonna do my seashell oracle, but I'm gonna do it with you guys on here, and then I'm going to journal off cam. So when I read an oracle deck, my tarot, my seashell one, I just try to get really grounded as I'm moving the deck. I focus on like scents, smells. So like, I'll tell you guys right now. My apartment smells like the Flamingo Estates tomato candle and lemon and tangerine oil that's in my diffuser. So like, I noticed that. I noticed the sound of my hertz that are playing behind me and kind of the vibration coming off of that. And then I noticed the sounds coming from outside. And so doing that just helps me to get really grounded and centered. And then when it feels right, I'll pull a card. Murex, power, luxury, and effort. So I think the reason I feel like Ellen is because I button into that. Like, I think it just needs to be like a very undone look, like this. Okay. Murex. I'm really loving this deck. I know I keep saying it to you, but okay. In ancient times, murex were used to create Tyrian purple, a color forbidden to anyone but nobles. That's iconic. Like, what? That's crazy. But like, what? You guys, I kind of love it. Okay. Thousands were needed to dye just one emperor's robe. Wow. Many unseen labors make up one individual's achievements. See, I love how it ties stuff in. Like, it kind of, like, I didn't know where they were going with it, but now I do, you know? I think, too, sometimes we forget that, like, Blake always is pointing that out to me. He's like, you see all of these, like, insanely successful people, and you just see the end result. He's like, you don't see how much they freaking grinded. Or maybe they didn't grind, but, like, usually they did. But yeah, I've been listening, side note, I'm in a really chatty mood right now. I've been listening to a lot of Skinny Confidential because I got so far behind and I'm finally caught up again. And I love their podcast. I feel like they do such a good job having such a wide variety of people on. And yeah, I actually really enjoyed the one with the M13 founders, aka Paris Hilton's husband and his brother, Courtney. But I didn't like how Lauren kept asking them about Paris. I was like, just ask them about what they do. Have Paris on. But anyways, I love their podcast. But, and like, I'm sorry if this is judgmental. Why do they keep telling us that Michael is a quarter Japanese? Like, they say it in every single podcast. And it's to the point where it's like, we get it. Like, he's a quarter Japanese. Like, that's, like, cool, but, like, it almost, I don't know if it's, like, them trying to, like, overcomp and be like, Michael's a quarter Japanese. We're diverse. We're not just two white people. I don't know. But it's like, every time it happens, I send to Kate, I say Michael's a quarter Japanese. Because it's like, it's so bizarre. It's very interesting. And tell me you guys haven't noticed that. If you listen, like, you have to have noticed it and just been like, okay, we get it. Like, that's great, but like, why do you feel the need to bring it up every single podcast? Like, tell every single guest too. It's interesting, to say the least. Okay. I'm gonna journal. Post last class, I just worked for a couple hours. It's almost 3, so I'm gonna go meet Claire, my friend, and we're gonna walk to Whole Foods, and I'm gonna pick up some groceries.
In the corner, and I went to call her, she's gone. I was like, what?
Hello, you guys. I just cleaned up Dins, and I'm about to get in the shower, but I figured I would show you. I just grabbed a package, it's very small, but I just got this cutie little top from Joann, and I thought I'd show you. I have a feeling it's just gonna be a sweet little summer girl top. Oh, it's so cute. It's like a tank, but then it has this little tie. I don't know if you can see. It's super sheer, but very pretty. Love. Their stuff is so freaking cute. Okay. I am going to get in the shower and have some dessert. Can't wait. And get ready for bed. So that's the vibe for me now. I made the best sourdough tonight. And oh, it was so good with steak. So I'll see you in the morning. Actually, no, I'm gonna end the vlog here. So I'm not gonna see you in the morning. Well, I'll see you in the next vlog in the morning. But I'm gonna end the vlog so that I can get it up tomorrow. So I love you guys so much. I'll start a weekend vlog tomorrow and I'll see you in my next one. Okay, love you, bye.